You know zombies, right? Of course you do. How couldn't you? There's The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Army of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, One Cut of the Dead, Dead Alive, Dead Snow.
There's pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp, coconut shrimp.
Really killing it with the creativity in the titles here, everyone. At least Shaun of the Dead gets a pass because it's mostly a parody, and a damn good one at that. I need to go watch that movie again. Fuck, man, we need more movies like that. Not specifically more zombie horror comedies, but more charismatic, creative, and fresh films that remind you how engaging it can be to watch something that feels so original. Anyway, what the hell am I talking about again? Fuck, that's right, episode 5 of What If. It's got zombies in there too. That's what I was getting at. Let's get into it. The episode kicks off from the moment the Hulk was sent back down to Earth to warn the Avengers of Thanos' impending doom. However, when he lands in the Sanctum Sanctorum, there's no one there for the now human Banner to warn. Even stepping outside, the streets are barren and void of life. Suddenly, Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian pop in to fuck up Bruce's day, and just like in Infinity War, the Hulk refuses to take over and assist. But not to worry, a Doctor Strange portal opens and Iron Man's hand pops out to blast Maw in the face, followed by a few of the Avengers finishing the job by taking a few bites out of the Black Order members? Because it turns out Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Wong are zombies. And now Maw and Cull Obsidian are too. Just when it seems like puny Banner is going to join the Flesh-Eating Brigade, in comes Doctor Strange's cape, aka the Cloak of Levitation, to save him along with the Wasp and Spider-Man. Then the Watcher goes on to explain how all this came to be. Turns out the cause of the zombie breakout began when Hank Pym went to save his wife Janet from the quantum realm. Unfortunately, she had already contracted a quantum virus by the time Hank got to her. She passed it on to Hank, the two of them returned from the quantum realm, and passed it along to a plethora of others from there. Cut to a zombie apocalypse survival guide video made and narrated by Spider-Man, showing us that amongst the group of survivors, aside from him and Hope, are Happy Hogan, Kurt from Ant-Man for some reason, Bucky, Sharon Carter, and Okoye. The group of heroes get word of another camp of survivors that supposedly have found something close to what could be considered a cure to the zombie outbreak, so they decide to head to New Jersey to investigate. In order to get there, they head to the train station where they are met by Zombie Falcon and Zombie Hawkeye, and of course, run into issues with getting the train to operate. But after an intense back and forth and losing Happy, the team manage to make their way out. While in transit, they get paid a visit from Zombie Captain America, who takes down Sharon before being split in half with his own shield by Bucky. Zombie Sharon stands back up but is immediately taken care of by Hope. Not without consequence though. Bruce points out that Hope got a cut, which means she's about to start craving some flesh soon. Understanding and accepting her fate, Hope decides to courageously sacrifice herself. You see, the hero's train runs out of fuel, which forces them to consider traveling the rest of the way by foot, but the distance seems to make it clear that they'll all end up zombies before they make it there. So, Hope becomes Giant Hope and carries the team to the Jersey base before collapsing to her death. As heroic of a gesture as that was, wouldn't it be leaving everyone else a pretty big pile of shit to deal with after she fully converts to a zombie? Now there's a chance they may have to fend off a giant zombie. Oddly enough, the zombies don't seem to have the capability of going past the bordered fence around the facility, even in areas where the fence is broken and not physically stopping them. The reason derives from Vision, who we find out is running the facility and realize that the Mind Stone in his head distributes a frequency that the zombies don't care for. In other words, the zombies are all dogs, and to them the Mind Stone is like a consistently blaring dog whistle. Since the outbreak, Vision has been using this knowledge and science to attempt to make a cure, in which we see some progress as he successfully reanimated the head of Scott Lang. The rest of the heroes are thrilled at what this could lead to, but Vision insists that human technology is currently incapable of distributing the cure worldwide. Also, it's because he's been busy secretly luring survivors in as sacrifices to feed his beloved zombie wife, Wanda. Holy shit, wow. With no trouble whatsoever, Bruce gets Vision to see the error of his ways, and the synthezoid aids the heroes in escaping. Oh yeah, and inside they found a one-legged T'Challa. Vision points them in the direction of a jet to get away in, but refuses to come with, claiming he needs to atone for what he's done, which apparently means commit suicide at that very moment by ripping the Mind Stone out of his head. Bruce picks it up and takes it with to fend off the zombies, and the remaining bunch make it to the jet, which of course won't start up right away. Typical horror movie shit. First the train, now this. To buy them some time, Bruce chooses to step out and Hulk smash some zombies. But why? They have the Mind Stone. Doesn't that already keep the zombies at bay just fine? Whatever. It gives us a chance to see a bit of Hulk vs. Zombie Wanda. As the jet gets going and the heroes fly off, they run into, sure enough, giant fucking zombie wasp. But T'Challa's like, eat shit, and they soar away to fight another day. The last image of the episode we get is fucking zombie Thanos standing at the energy shield gates of Wakanda. Then the episode ends. There's the breakdown of, what if zombies? Another episode that I can safely say I thoroughly enjoyed. It's not so much that each episode gets better than the last, but more so that the show overall is doing a magnificent job of widening the scope on what stories are possible to tell within the MCU. The idea of the outbreak originating from a quantum realm virus was a unique take that felt believable in that world and was an interesting way to put a Marvel spin on zombies, and in turn created a nice blend of two different genres that we haven't seen much of mixed together all too often. But I must admit, I am a bit confused regarding the logic surrounding these zombies. Are they intelligent? On one hand, we see a good chunk of them mindlessly waddling around like some extras from The Walking Dead, but then we get a few like Iron Man, who can still function in his suit quite efficiently, or Hank Pym, who's still able to successfully pilot a ship out of the quantum realm. Is this based on their level of intelligence prior to becoming zombies? It didn't ruin anything for me, but it would have been nice to have some more consistency in how they acted so we had an idea of what to expect from them. The only other thing that had a hard time landing for me in this one was the humor. Some of it worked, but the majority of it came off as forced and unfitting with the circumstances they were faced with. At least they did fit in a few grounded moments to try and even things out, especially in that small, touching speech from Spider-Man to Hope about how he retains his upbeat attitude in sad times like those. Looking at this entry as a whole, this absolutely felt like a universe I would be okay with seeing more of, especially since it left off on such a cliffhanger/plot hole. When did Thanos become a zombie? Clearly it makes sense to agree that he must have obtained the other Infinity Stones he has prior to arriving on Earth for the Mind Stone. But if that's the case, then how the fuck did the zombies manage to get their hands on him? Even without the Mind Stone, he was wielding way more than enough power to overwhelm and dominate nearly any enemy, let alone a horde of brainless zombies. Which wraps me right back around to the intelligence question. Thanos seems to be in full control of himself and his impending situation at the end of the episode. So, what the fuck exactly are the symptoms when dealing with this virus? I don't know. But what I do know is that even with those questions I'm left with, I still found so much to appreciate in this episode and found it to be a really intriguing take on how one simple change could have altered everything so heavily. And of course, as always, I want to know what you all thought about this episode. Did you find this to be a fun, creative spin on zombies? Or did you find it to be a cheap attempt at trying to mix superheroes with an element that should remain separate? What are your guesses behind the logic of these zombies, and if they're smart or not? And would you also like to see more from this particular universe? Drop those opinions in the comments. Like the video if you enjoy this content, subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with future breakdowns. And I'll catch you at the next review.